Welcome to another Saturday. No, it's Sunday. Man, I tell you what, retirement always gets me on this, but welcome to a Sunday evening episode of Taking It to the No. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie, and tonight, well, I'm going to continue with our Tobacco Product Association member companies as I introduce you to more and more new and some not so new companies. The company today that we're going to be talking about is KJD Cigars. Actually, Ken Doerrbecker, and we're going to be talking about his cigar, The Chief. Okay, you'll learn all about why it's called The Chief. You might start to imagine it's got some red in that, so you know where that's coming from, but we'll get deeper into that. And we're going to have some fun on today's show. He's a fellow Long Islander like me, and we're going to dig into some fun stuff. So grab your drink, grab a cigar, and we're going to get this show started in just a bit. But as always, just before that, let us not forget to shout out to our sponsors. For without them, this show is always a little harder to do. And with that, we'll begin the show.
Is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels.
Catelli Cigars is back. The past few years brought many questions and changes to the cigar industry. In the wake of all uncertainty, Catelli Cigars decided to take a break and try their hand in the retail side of cigars. With 2 shops under their belt, first Riverside Cigar Bar, and now the Catelli Cigar Lounge in Vero Beach, Florida, they are now more educated in the retail and the wholesale sides of the cigar business. During this time, they received many inquiries about their cigars returning to the market. Making the difficult decision to take a break from their brand was eased knowing that when the time was right, Catelli would be back, and now they are. Catelli is excited to bring their first release, the Catelli Box Air, back to market. The Box Air, a rich box-pressed San Andreas Mexican Maduro with a Nicaraguan binder and filler, come in Box Air's 3 original sizes, Robusto, Toro, and Gordo. You can check out Catelli Cigars at catellicigars.com. And also check out their Facebook and Instagram pages. All right, let's bring in the Chief himself, Ken Doerrbecker. What's up, Chief? How you
How are
doing?
you guys? Very well. How are you? How are you?
All right, man. It's a beautiful Sunday where I am. A little hot, but hey, it's Florida. What can I say?
That's all right. I'm in the 70s. It's not bad for New York after the last couple of days, so it's nice.
Man, you guys had some messed up rain out there.
Yeah, yeah. We had some good rain, couple of heat waves. Yeah, it's been
I
brutal, brutal summer.
saw pictures of that Clearview Expressway the other day.
Underwater the other night. Yeah, crazy, right? Some things never change from when you were in New York.
Yeah, I tell you, it's August. I never did like August weather, period, the end.
Yeah,
Especially growing up. I didn't have AC in the house, so
yeah,
you get hot August, the old story of hot August nights.
yeah,
Long Island defined it. Everything just clashed. All that warm, heating summer waters now just comes on shore and it's just muggy.
yeah. It's crap, but
Yeah, it's crap.
it is what it is. It's what we do.
So KJD cigars, if I'm correct, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay, I imagine the J stands for
John.
John. Okay. Ken John Doerrbecker. Um, the chief, you have one cigar, as I understand it, and bring me back a little on the history, because if I remember talking to you, your company actually goes back to like 2012.
Yeah, we started in 2015.
Okay.
I used to hang out a lot at Maxie's.
Mm-hmm.
Built a place for Jack and stuff like that. Obviously, good friends with Rocky. So looks like you got the Habano in your hand now. Maduro, yeah. So
Savannah.
it's actually started by Rocky for me.
Okay.
Wanted
So
to,
this is a Rocky. Is it still a Rocky cigar?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
They all the cigars moved along as we moved along. Um,
Chocolate.
that was originally I want to make a cigar. Hey, you and everybody. I had a blend. So at the time, Allison was the rep, and she brought it to Rocky, and we brought it down to the factory. Did 100 boxes as my first startup. Sold out during a release party, which was amazing. We did a second release where Nimish came up and was at the event for me, and had a great time. Took probably about 8 months, I'd say, to come up with that. I lucked out because we actually did a cigar safari down by Rocky at the time, so I was able to actually see that in production when it was getting done originally. During one of the Christmas parties at Maxie's, gave away cigar safari, and we wanted to win, go down. It was perfect. They were just doing the labeling at the time.
Was that the party?
On
Was
the,
that the Rocky party that they have every year at Maxie's, or did
the
have
Christmas
every
party,
year?
yeah, 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 yeah. That's the Christmas party.
That was like a huge party there.
Yeah, we hang up a lot of stockings. Jack would do the right thing for all his people there. There was cigars in every stocking. It was a good time. Good time. And so that's how we came up with that cigar originally. From there, I have moved from Rocky over to Gabby Caffey, 1901.
Okay.
And at that time, then we came up with the box press, which is the Mexican San Andreas, the all hands. And then we also came up with the Proby, the Connecticut. And then when he closed the factory, we moved over to La Aurora.
Okay.
Got one last move coming.
Okay. So right now, these are coming out of La Aurora.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And the name, the Chief, I brought it up in the intro, with a little red in there. You were a fire chief.
Yeah, right here in Franklin Square.
In Franklin Square, New York.
I got
My grandmother lived in Franklin Square, right on Jefferson Street.
She's right here.
She's right. That's where she used to live. Yeah. Yeah.
Pull out onto Jefferson.
I used to go over there and mow the lawn for my grandfather when he couldn't do it anymore. But yeah, Jefferson Street. I remember that.
My great grandmother was on Hill over in Elmont. So
on Murray Hill?
Over Hill Avenue, right off Hempstead Turnpike. It's like Hill would be 2 blocks before Meacham.
2 blocks away.
Oh no, right
Hill,
after Meacham, right?
Was it Hill or Murray Hill or Murray Hill Street?
Just HIL.
Oh yeah, because my ex-wife and my mother-in-law,
Avenue, King Umberto.
Yeah, they still live on Murray Hill Street. It's my ex-mother-in-law lives on, which is right down.
Yeah, that's street. Down more towards the valley.
Well, it's kind of where there's like a junkyard or whatever, and then and a laundry mat, and you just right across from Belmont Racetrack. That's what they, but on the
Oh, yeah,
across
yeah, yeah.
Hempstead
Okay.
Turnpike, right down two or three streets down, and there was this back street. And yeah, man, I had a lot of friends in Elmont. First girlfriend was from Elmont,
Yeah.
also.
Oh boy.
It's, I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in Elmont when I was in high school. Going to
Yeah.
Sewanee, I went to Sewanee High School. Where'd you go?
I was Cary, graduated
Okay.
88. My brother was like 86, Sawanica.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was over there originally, I think, engineering or maybe architectural drawing or something. So he was over in Sawanica for that.
Yeah, he probably took architectural drawing stuff because I know that was something my brother did, and then I did all the electronics.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they were big on that.
Big
So,
stepping stone for college if you wanted to go, because
oh yeah,
when you got into the initial subjects of whatever your career path was, there were kids in the class couldn't understand how you even
yeah.
professors did not know how I knew so much. I was like, where'd you learn all this? I'm like, high school.
Oh, I got a bad signal. Oh, yeah, there you go. I got maybe a little bad signal. Yeah, well, that was a big BOCES school, Sawanica.
It was BOCES, and then they had their own stuff that they taught. Um,
Right.
there were competitions we went to for different interests. So my brother went for architectural design,
Hmm.
went to a state competition for that. I
Nice.
went for electronics. It was pretty cool. My younger brother actually went there for printing, and
Oh wow.
he's a foreman at a shop down here in Melbourne now. Is getting old to retire, but he
Yeah,
knows everything and everything about a press. Not like these kids today. You look at the press, everything. I mean, they wouldn't know what to do with an old Harris press.
yeah. Well, everything's digital now. Nobody knows how
Right.
everything laid and letter changing and all of that. That was on an actual press.
He knows how to take the thing apart. He actually can machine parts and put it back into the machine and make it work.
Wow. Yeah. No, so he's an old timer.
He's
Yeah.
an old timer like me. That's right. We don't look at each other like we're old timers because we still think we're teenagers pissing each other off.
Yeah.
So fire chief, so how many years?
I got 37 in the firehouse. I was
Hmm.
chief from 96 to 2001
And you retired in 2001
as chief. I'm
as
still in the
chief.
fire department, still active,
Well,
still,
it's volunteer,
yeah,
right?
volunteer. So,
So people out there may not know this, but Long Island is full of these townships, all right, and these villages within townships, and the villages provide most of their own fire protection and sometimes police protection, but the fire protection is all volunteer.
yeah,
Everybody just volunteered, and if you were working, everybody knew that wherever you work, they'll say, "Well, I volunteer. This is my night. I can't my day. I got to be there for 24 hours or whatever." And
yep.
I'm sleep, eat, and drink at the firehouse.
The only ones beside Long Beach was Garden City, probably back in your day. They had paid chauffeurs and stuff. Garden City Fire Department.
Garden City, maybe. Yeah, New Hyde Park had its own
Yeah, now Garden City's even involved.
village,
Well,
and and I had a lot of friends in New Hyde Park Fire Department, and we also had the siren that went off every day at noon and at 6
still
o'clock.
does, still does.
Yep. Just to let you know, if you're not home at the dinner table when the siren went off at 6, you were in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't go anymore. That's all old school. We knew lights came on at night on the street, time to go home. You knew when dinner time was, not what all these kids have today in the freedom, you know. Forget about it. Now they're all home anyway on the games.
Of course. So you're growing the brand now. Are you happy where you're at with the brand, or you have some new goals you're setting now that you probably have a little more free time?
Um, Free time, yes. No, free time between my full-time job, between my irrigation company and the cigars. Um, yeah, we're actually teaming up right now with doing something, and the person I'm teaming up with is excellent marketer, stuff like that. Um, and we work, and the entire website's under construction, even though it's up, totally under
Yeah.
construction. Because it's been a little while since I updated that.
Yeah, I
He's
noticed that. I went
Yeah,
on it
he's
today. I was
redoing
like,
everything.
oops.
It still has that Habano on it. You know,
Yeah.
doesn't even show all three. The new one shows everything. Has
Okay.
its own online store on it for purchasing, everything.
So
So,
what does this cigar retail for?
so in New York,
But
that's
no, no, no. Just give me the normal price. I
normal is
don't.
probably
Okay, it's $30 in New York.
yeah. Normal will be around the $10, $11 mark, $10 mark.
Just that's a good price.
Yeah. When I first
Yeah.
came out with them, I always, and Jack said, we want to be under 10 because you see all the people that come into the shop all the time, and they're always after. You're not going to introduce somebody to a new cigar if it's $15.
No, yeah, we
Not
just
going to
talked
happen. They're
about
going to
it.
go to an Ashton or something, or even
That's
though I may be
correct.
better, they're going to go with something they knew.
That's right.
So people used to come into the store, and I used to say, hey, can I help you look for something? What's your palate? What do you enjoy? What do you like? And they're like, well, I like a mild medium cigar or, a medium body. I said, okay, we got a Long Island born cigar here. It's called the Chief. The guy's a local fire chief. I wouldn't even say it was me. I was like, why don't you give it a shot? At that time, it was like
You were
$8.
selling your own cigar
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. It was like $8.95.
He
So I said,
is such a
give it a
Long
shot. I
Islander.
said, if you don't like it, I'll take the cigar and we'll buy your other cigar. Okay. Check up on the guy a little later, sitting in a back room. What do you think? He goes, you know what? I would have never picked it up. I really enjoy it. It's really good. It's burning well. And thank God from Rocky all the way up, I've never had drawer issues,
No, not at
Um,
all.
and he's like, very good. He goes, I'm actually going to take two to go. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll let the owner know that you really enjoy it and stuff. He goes, how do you get in touch with him? I said, it's me. He goes, what? I was like, it's me. I'm the owner. I'm the brand owner of the cigar. He goes, a regular guy just in the store? I'm like, regular guy just in the store,
Imagine
I
that.
said, but, and then I've done that in multiple shops I'm in. Now that we have the Proby and we have the all hands, if they like, when I came out with the Proby in the firehouse, a lot of guys were like, Kenny, I love your cigar, but it's a little strong for me, the Habano.
Mm.
Might not
Mm.
be strong to us because we smoke all the time, but
Right.
so I at that time said to Gabby, we got to do a Connecticut. And the Connecticut we wound up doing was a home run with the Ecuador Connecticut wrapper. And I do the same thing with that. I'm like, oh, you like a mild? I said, I'll tell you what. And I used to actually sell his cigar at one time in Limbrook, his Connecticut. I said, you like that Ashton cabinet? Smoke this. If you don't like this, we'll buy the Ashton cabinet. Smoke them. Yeah, give me a box. I said,
Oh,
see, you're smoking an $8 cigar versus $16 stick. I said, boutique now this is maybe 6-8 years ago. Boutique has come way up, to me in the market. More people enjoy it. More people seem to look for boutique blends.
we're still in the what's new
Yeah,
stage
yeah,
always, and not just what's new from a brand, but what's new of new brands.
yeah,
There's a brand new brand just came out. Check this out. Check that
yeah,
out. Um, but you're right about the price point. We just recently had done the show on pricing, and it's really important for especially small boutique companies not to try to get those numbers up too high because you're competing against things that people know about.
yep.
So you have to give them something. You can't be too low either because they look at you like,
Why is it cheap? I know it's such a game.
why is it cheap, right?
Yeah,
And then I have people go, wait, it's not in a box, it must be garbage. I'm like going the box has absolutely nothing to do with the
yeah,
cigar. All
yeah,
it does is add all the box does, and a box of 10 is add $4 to the price of the cigar on the shelf. But if you want the box and you like boxes, that's great.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And it's
I'm
funny
more than
because
happy.
um, a lot of these shops now give me back boxes because they have bins. The whole humidor's bins. So they're like, if you got a bundle, just give me a bundle because I don't need the box.
Yeah.
They'll keep one or two, like Harry or stuff up at Harry's Havana Hut. He would actually have a box because he'd get a lot of firemen in for a promotional party or something like that in the firehouse. And he would give them the chief in the box and everything. Otherwise, these guys, very, very few shops even have boxes laid out
Do
anymore.
you
They're all bins.
Do you is your model now to do refill bundles with the shops?
I do already. Like
Do
one
they
of
get a
this
discount
Aurora
on
was
the,
all bundled.
do they get a discount on the cigar because of that
Yeah,
when
the
they
bundle's a little
purchase?
cheaper without the box because the
Good.
boxes are $10 now. My
I
boxes
know. That's
were
what I
always
said.
my
10
boxes
bucks.
were always 20 count. You know,
Okay.
I thought about 10 count. So shops here and there ask me about 10 count boxes because it's easier in the holiday to sell a 10 count than a 20.
Yeah, but
You
it
know,
makes it twice the cost of the cigar. So, it's,
yeah,
a 20 count box adds $2 to the cigar. A 10 count box adds $4 a cigar.
yeah. So I was like, no, I do the 20 count. You know, the 20 count box
Okay.
and stuff. We just finished working gift packs. You know, the Ovita bags. You know, for Christmas time for sales and stuff. So it's moving along. We're coming out with we were hoping to do it last year, but with all the shifting and moving, we're going to be doing the Chief Fire Pole.
Oh, you're going to do a cheap fire pole.
Yeah, so the fire pole is a nice Mexican San Andreas and Sumatra double wrap. Very nice.
So you're going to call it the fire plug? Or
The
you're
fire
going
pole, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you should, you're going to make a fire pole. Then you're going to make a short one called the fire plug. Or call it the Johnny plug.
I could do that, but we got one coming out that it's called the Chalk.
Oh, Chuck.
The Chalk, yeah. So it's a triangular box. 17 fit in the box. The way it's designed, they're going to be short, you know,
Okay.
but they're also 54 and 60.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost like an
I,
but
I could tell you that when I went and connected everything up to go live on Facebook, it always has me sign in through Zoom into Facebook. And the funny thing with Facebook knows so much about you. It's hilarious. So it always comes up with one of those capture things where you got to say, you got to find a bicycle or a motorcycle in it.
oh yeah, yeah.
This time it was fire plugs. I'm like, how? Oh, yeah, you guys are so tuned into what I'm doing because that can't
Scary.
be some random thing.
Yeah,
It's like I had to find the fire hydrants in the stupid thing. It's
it's
like,
scary,
of course,
isn't
I'm
it?
doing a show with the chief. I do fire plugs.
Very scary. You talk about the littlest thing, and next thing you know, it's on the suggestions on Facebook or
Mhm.
Instagram. You know, and you didn't even have your phone open.
That's
You
it.
know,
That's it.
privacy is not yours anymore. But
Well, you got to figure a way to keep pushing that for the cigars. So every time we talk about a cigar, right now, everybody's phone should be blowing up with chief memes.
yeah, right. So yeah, and then when we did that, the sort of the Proby we were talking about,
Hmm.
that's nice. That came out a lot. You know, Gabby originally did the blend for me, and when we did it, it's I don't know. People always ask me, like, I'm like, look, I said, you know, to me sometimes Connecticut's have that cardboard taste or the wrapper, you know. So when we did
Little papery cardboard.
yeah,
It burns my eyes sometimes.
yeah, we did the Ecuador Connecticut wrapper on that. You know, the binder, we did the Corojo binder, and then we did the
Nice.
Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. That was a it does well, very well. It came out beautiful, smokes well. I love that cigar in the morning, and I'm more of a medium plus guy. But I start at work at like 5:30 in the morning with a
All right.
cigar, driving in with a cigar. You know,
Yeah, there you go.
if it's a summer heat, I'll kind of stay a little more Connecticut. You know, um, and then what? Yeah, the Maduro you have that we did the Criollo '98 binder, and then we had all Honduran fillers in that.
Yeah, it's got a nice chocolate aroma coming off of it. It's got some
Yeah,
fruity chocolate notes. There's definitely some spice in it.
yeah, that Nicaraguan
Um,
tobacco.
but it's not a peppery hot spice.
No,
It's a very palatable spice on it.
no.
Sometimes they get these cigars and they just, I know people have different palates and they really enjoy like, punch in the face when it comes to the pepper and stuff. I would prefer it to be toned down a little more, add a little extra creaminess to it, and give me the peppery spice, but on the lighter side of it,
Mm-hmm.
just,
One of the when we first did that cigar, it had a lot in the front, and then it timed
Mhm.
itself down. and then they had smoothed it out and changed it and moved the fillers around a little bit so that it was kind of a little more even throughout the cigar, you know.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that happens for people is sometimes they get the punch hard and then
Right, right
eventually
off.
it fades. And then if you really enjoy that level of spice and pepper and it fades down on you, sometimes you're like, cigar is done. Whereas if you slowly amp it up,
Yeah,
you start to get more and more, but you can't over, I just, and I don't like it overpowering. Sometimes like the strength, like the nicotine, like the Lajero, sometimes that overpowers the actual flavor notes
yep.
and they get muddled and they get hidden and you're like, just not getting much out of it for the
Yeah,
journey.
the box press has some of the Lajero in it, but that instead of a Corojo, that's got a Criollo 98 binder in
Oh,
it, you know. So that was nice, and then it's Nicaraguan fillers, but that one does
so,
well too. The
so
box press and
prior,
Proby are the two biggies.
so prior to getting into making your own cigars, how much of this discussion did you understand? The leaf, you rattle off leaf names now.
Um,
You know about
a
rolling
lot
techniques.
because of always being over there so much, you know.
Good.
As you know, Jack's not really a cigar smoker. So we would, myself, Buddy Jay, a couple of guys, we would always be running the shop, when he went home at night and stuff like that. And or if he went to India for a month, we ran the
Hmm.
shop for him. And you picked up a lot, you know. Andrew and Allison and Bobby originally. Some of the reps when they would come in. There's a lot of reps out there. They want to come in, get an order, and they're gone because they have a lot of stops for the day or something, whatever they're doing. And then there's the ones that like to sit with you and, they'll sit for a little while and hang out,
Yeah.
and um, we'd BS and talk, and I'd research and look up. You're sitting there doing nothing, you're playing on your phone. What's this
Right.
leaf and the stages and the strength markers and stuff like that. And then Gustavo, who was down in Rocky's factory, he would sit with you and teach you how to take out notes and stuff when you're trying to come up with a cigar, what to look for and what to do and what to, those were always great trips down by Rocky's place. We had a lot of fun. And then now with everything being either by La Aurora or where we're going to be going in the DR, even though we still have Nicaragua and Honduran tobaccos, the trip's a lot closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
A little safer too.
a little safer. Yeah. A little. I remember going down one time and you had armed guards with you the entire time and they picked you up at the airport,
In Honduras?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah. And then it calmed. See, I heard it calmed down for a while and it got up a little bit and calmed down for a while, but it is what it is,
It's exactly. I've
Yeah.
never that's one place I have not been to. I've been to Nicaragua, I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to the Dominican. Not been down there, and I've not been in the Mexican side of the tobacco world. I've been to Mexico, but not to the
Right.
Mexican world of tobacco.
We did a bus
And
trip from Nicaragua to Honduras. And when you're crossing the border there and you're getting a fistful because one thinks the other's the dirty, and let me tell you, it ain't funny. It ain't funny.
it's not like getting
Like,
stopped.
what did we do?
Well, it's like driving on that road from Managua to Esteli,
Oh.
and you don't realize that all of a sudden you get pulled over, and if you're not
Yeah,
giving them the money, you got a problem.
we
You
were
know?
at the border crossing, and the guy says, "What's in the cooler?" So the bus driver says, "Let me do all the talking." Yep, 2 beers, here you go. A couple of cigars, here you go. To the cops.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's nuts how that works down
And
there.
cars are so close, they tell you don't put your arm out the bus window because they're that close when they go, 80 miles an hour past each other. But a lot of fun, a lot of fun. If anybody
It's
gets
not. It reminds me of. I did some trips to India when I was working, and there's a road we would take, and to go across this kind of a bridge over this ravine, and there are these monkeys, and the driver says you got to keep your windows up because the monkeys will jump into the car.
Wow.
Okay, and they'll steal like your necklaces and shit.
Wow.
You got any jewelry? I mean, it's crazy. You know what would happen? And here we are. We drive around America. It's like this. So yeah, we got some bad areas, but
Yeah.
you just know you go through it. But there, it's like these other places. This stuff is going on all the time.
Yeah.
It was just natural.
And
Just
they tell
deal
you
with
don't
it.
bring anything. Leave all your
Hmm.
fancy stuff home and back in New York.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Crazy.
I don't wear any jewelry when I was down there. I don't flaunt anything. I try not to wear fancy clothes if I don't have to.
Right.
Just like I'm just a guy,
It's just the
just
way it is. Yeah.
just some old guy walking down the street.
Oh,
Now, when we're talking about reps, so obviously you're repping yourself. You're brokers, or how do you get your cigars into shops, and how many shops now have you been getting into now that you've been moving along?
I've been lucky enough that the ones up here in New York I go to,
Mhm.
myself, Pennsylvania. Um, been branching out a little more into Jersey. I was lucky enough when Will from True Estates, who's now with True Estates, but he actually ran Anstead's at the time in North Carolina. I happened to stop
Okay.
it one time and took a 10-box order right off the bat. Um, he's now a big True Estates rep for them down in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida area. He's a great dude. And then when I was down in by my house in Myrtle Beach, um, I had East End Cigars. So that John was a retired NYPD cop.
Okay.
Then I had Smoke Shop, and now Pete just picked them up at Goodfellas, which is
Oh.
in Garden City area, South Carolina. And
Okay.
so I called him last week, said, how'd it go? And he goes, no problem so far. People are loving it. I was like, yeah, great, no problem. So now as I go down every month to visit my two boys, stop in, no problem. Whatever you need. If you need it before that, I'll ship them. So I've had 2 or 3 people who are brokers ask me and, come up, and something to consider, brokers and stuff like that.
Yeah, if they could open it up, and then of course you got to open up production, and that's more
Correct.
cash and
And that's
more cash investment.
yeah, it was a big cash investment going over to La
Yeah,
Aurora. It was huge,
exactly.
big difference.
Yeah.
So, and it's one of the things Gabby taught me. You need that inventory behind you to
Hmm.
open up the next one, because I've
That's
had it after
correct.
8 months. I was done. I was dry, transferring over from Rocky to Gabby and
And you
stuff.
got nothing.
And it was dry, right? So at least this transfer now will be. I have old inventory to
Sure.
put out, new stuff coming in.
Now
So
you mentioned you're looking at Jersey, or been doing something. Have you gotten yourself into Stick Cigar Lounge in Jersey?
no. So
Do
I've
you
been up
know?
there
Do,
once
do
and
you
saw.
know? Do you know the owner?
Yeah, Dan's a fireman.
Yes, that's why I
Yeah,
brought it up. It's like
yeah,
this. Come on, man. Come on. Danny's got to bring this in.
yeah. So I'll be back up that way again next month, and hopefully team up with him to see him. And one of the best guys, Kevin from Rockefeller.
Kevin is
He's
just
always pushing me, or like he'll tell Dan because he's in there. You're
sure.
a fireman. You got to bring Kenny. And I wasn't going with the fire department theme originally. Good
Yeah.
friend of ours, Mark Weinberg at the time. We were all thinking of names in Spanish and this and that. What can we call this? And he said, just call it the Chief. I'm like, the Chief? He goes, dude, the license plate on your car says Chief 710. He goes, which is my firehouse. He goes, everybody I meet calls you Chief. They all go, hey, Chief, what's up? Hey, Chief, how are you? From the firehouse. He goes, call it the Chief. I said, and I thought it would narrow, the production to fire department people. And I didn't want that. But I get a lot of people from outside the fire departments that enjoy it. So I just lucked out. You didn't know how it would go, but it didn't affect it at all.
Cigars like there's so many out there, right?
Yeah.
There thousands of different blends and brands, and no shop can carry everything. So once the cigar speaks for itself, and that's the magic, right? Is
Right.
to get it into the person's hand
Mm-hmm.
so that they can try it, and when they like it, um, Then it's up to them, they add this to their rotation. If they buy a box, maybe they visit that every couple of weeks, maybe they're
Mhm.
doing it every other day, whatever they choose. But you most likely want to have that in people's rotation, in a shop rotation,
Right.
making sure that these shops are constantly reordering, and that's the hardest part of the growth,
Yeah.
right? Is staying on top of where they are with your inventory in there, so that you help them back it up. And if they're having a problem, it's time for you to take that trip. And
Hmm.
like I said, you're a very busy guy. That's the hardest part of the small brands is
Yeah.
getting yourself out and about, especially when you expand outside of your comfort zone, which is the New York metropolitan Pennsylvania area.
Right.
Now all of a sudden it's not like
Long car ride.
it's not a day trip. You got to take a plane sometimes, or
Yeah.
you got to take a 12-hour road trip in a hotel, and
Yeah.
you know
When we did the
just
pipe
all
show in
adds.
Chicago, Second Avenue cigars, they brought them in, and he knows it. He goes, look, I know I'm all the way in Chicago. He goes, I'll stay on top of this, and I'll help push it and stuff, and I need to
Sure.
call you and stuff like that, which is great of a shop owner. And that was always my biggest thing, even in Lynbrook over by Maxie's, is rotating and pushing, and everybody comes in and they look at that center section. You know,
Yes.
so I would put, some of the big brands high and low and put some of the new people in front. Or in Lynbrook, we had one wall that was strictly boutique blends, you know?
Yeah, as a shop I went to here that had that. It was nice.
Yeah.
Just the boutique section, and they
Yeah.
would, and sometimes they would rotate it in, and if it didn't sell, they would rotate something new in. It
Right.
depends on how it moved.
Yeah.
But the people that work there also need to be educated enough to help people gravitate, say, hey, I know you smoke, XYZ major brands
Mhm.
all the time, but I just got this new brand in. This might actually fit your profile. You might maybe check it out, and it's not as pricey. Okay. And then see if and
Yeah.
it's educating them, because sometimes I get shops that's like know how to do that. And then there are shops that are like, nobody's even coming in the humidor with you.
Yeah, exactly. They don't follow
And
you in.
like,
They don't ask for suggestions. It's like you're looking around and you're being there for 10 minutes and like sales rep never even came in here yet. So you got to go searching for yourself. And some of the, don't get me wrong, some of the humidors, especially down by you guys, are tremendous. They're in a tight store,
they're
you know,
ridiculous.
but you can't put down every aisle. But yeah, it's a matter of really getting the people or the shop people working to care and want to help push you and stuff like that. John, you down in South Carolina, people used to walk in the store and people you never met. And he's like, "How you doing?" He goes, "What can we get you?" And I like this, this, this. He goes, "Where you from?" He goes, "Well, we got a New York Long Island born cigar right here." But what are you talking about? And he came up with it, and he was like, "Yeah, the Chief Cigars is guys from Franklin Square, Long Island." And they're like, "Well, how can I not get a Long Island cigar?" And
Exactly, because and that's the beauty. Like Florida, South Carolina, these places that have, people go down to vacation, to go down to play golf,
yeah,
whatever. They're coming in out of Long Island, they're coming down here for a while, and that's an easy sell,
yeah, and it was
you
for him,
know.
so it worked out well there. And then when he
Yeah.
sold that shop, the new owner kept it, and then Pete's got a beautiful shop down in the Goodfellas, and so it's nice to take a drive down there and have a couple of places to go. And then I try to hit on the way down, if I can into Virginia. This trip down will be hitting into Fredericksburg, and we'll, go in, introduce yourself, and go for the best. Leave some samples. You know
Yes.
how it is.
Of course. Of
And
course. It's
if
always
they
going to
call
be.
you, you're blessed. If I've had people call me say, I really like it. Would you do a box order of each? Absolutely. I'm not going to hit you with, oh no, it's got to be 6 boxes, 8 boxes, 10 boxes. I'm a brand new company. You want one of each? Let's roll with it, man. Let's push it. Let's see how it goes. And next thing you know, they're calling and say, look, these two dynamite, could be the Habano, maybe. It's pretty much, I kind of have some more of that palate. But your Connecticut, it rocked out. The box, no problem. The box press rocked out, no problem. So no problem. I'll send you whatever you want of those too. And it works out really well.
So let's talk a little bit about TPA, okay?
Mhm.
Because one of the things, like I tell people, this next couple of months, I'm highlighting on this show TPA brand members, okay? Especially those that I met at or were featured at the latest TPA event that we just had. Uh, how did you get involved with TPA? And what do you see as the benefit of being a member company in TPA? I'll let you talk about that because I already explained it to people.
Yeah. So I was doing the Chicago Pipe Show,
Uh-huh.
and Ish and Ronnie we were outside BSing and under the tent at night after everything was over. And they were talking about, what they wanted to do. And, Ish said what he wanted to bring up and how we wanted it to be not about a boutique blend, but he was looking to make it Tobacco Products Association. And I said, okay, well, what are you doing? And he said, I want it to be everything tobacco related, and I said, okay, that sounds great. From a lighter to a cutter to, we were inside talking with people, and that show, first of all, is just outrageously crazy. I've never seen so many pipe makers, from all over the world. Chicago's the biggest show there is, from Italy,
Yeah.
Japan, and everything. So I said, okay. And as you mentioned the idea to some people inside that strictly make lighters, and whether it was Cleaver or this, they're like, we would love to be part of something that's the broad spectrum of everybody, not just, hey, you got to have a cigar. So I said, all right. I said, you know what? Maybe I'm in on this. It's everything sounds great. Well, let's do it. Who's going to be on the board? And what are we consistent of? What are we doing? Meeting wise, this, that. So we spent a couple of months, and it was Ronnie, Ish, Ronnie, me, Dr. Rodriguez, um, and I said, okay. And then now it's every week on a Zoom meeting. There's 5, 10 new people, which is incredible. So if it gets a little loud here, there's a fire call coming in just in case it gets a little loud. But um, I said, okay. And every week when we're doing a different meeting, some of them are just us, some of them are open to everybody. And next thing I mentioned one thing to a friend of mine, and then I'm on the Zoom meeting, and there's a good friend, Anthony Capola, who makes the leather cases and everything. The zip open cases, beautiful case, your cigars, your lighter, your cutter, and everything. And he's in the meeting. He just joined the TPA. And this person just joined the TPA. And, Kathy sends us a list every month of, new people. Next thing you know, it's like 90 people already, they're all part of the TPA. I mean, last Wednesday, it was 31 people on the
Oh,
Zoom, meeting.
yeah.
And we were talking about Beatles. And then this week, we'll be talking about something else, for those
Okay, so
who know.
you're imparting knowledge in these
Yeah.
meetings to the member brands,
Yep. Yep.
helping people that maybe are new to this world from a manufacturing
Yeah.
perspective, what to watch out for. How do you help each other other than that, as far as getting into shops that maybe a member brand is in, and
So
you get help each
shops
other
can
get
join
into
the
that?
TPA. We have consumers who just joined the TPA. If a shop joins the TPA, and there's going to be one very soon right here in Long Island that's signing up. So if a shop joins the TPA and you carry TPA brands, that brand gives the shop 10% discount. That he doesn't just get 10% cheaper cigars. He pushes that 10% onto the consumer. So it costs him nothing, you know,
All right.
push out that cigar. And now the consumer could be going in and buying a chief who goes into that shop and getting it at another 10% discount, which is incredible, and us as the manufacturer passing that on to the shop, and consumers have been people joining up. Like I met 5 new people last Wednesday, that was talking, and you know what? It's a little different from other things that I've done because these people are interactive. Like some of them are quiet, they pay attention, they listen, and the other people are just like like they're talkative and it's like I never knew this. I never knew certain thing about a beetle or this, or why some of the big companies can freeze, and why some freeze once, some freeze a cigar 3 times. Because electric is very expensive. It's a commodity down there. So some of the bigger companies can afford to do that. And so it's been really good. What's up? It's been really good so far. With that, and it's every time you turn around, it's just growing and growing. We try to help push each other, which I'm sure everybody does. Try to help the other guy that's part of your organization. There's no doubt about that. Even when I was part of the BCA, we always tried to help each other.
Yeah.
But what's nice is having that inside connection too, of a lighter, a cutter, other products that are in tobacco that people don't even know. And we're sitting in a Zoom meeting and people are like, holy cow, I didn't even know this guy makes that kind of case. This is great. I want to buy one, and then you hook up, here's his website, here's his link, and she'll send out to every member a list. So it'll have KJT cigars, it'll have BAM, it'll have, Anthony's, New York Cigar Club or whatever it may be. And it's seems to be really, really nice so far. Very nice. And people really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just at last night. I was at the Angry Beaver
So
107 rollout, which was
how's
a
those
blast. Yeah, you saw that video. It's getting some traction, that little reel, those 2 reels. I'm surprised. Yeah, they did a good job on that. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. We some of us I obviously dressed up as the villain from Casino Royale, the little scar across the face and the bleeding tear eye. So black on black on black with the black bow tie and everything. My wife told me is I was gonna just do a regular white, shirt under the tuxedo.
Oh, okay.
He goes, "You have a black shirt, Jimmie. Go black on black. That's the evil guy."
That's him. Yeah. You always get to listen to the women.
And I'm like, I trust me. I have to bite my tongue sometimes when I want to argue in the other direction. And I just go, no, she's right. Just whatever you say. Yep, good. So that was a fun event. They had a nice rollout there.
Yeah, nice.
They did that one, and they also did the one bear.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's
I gotta try them. Yeah, we do a firehouse in September. We do a cigar night here at the fire department. 100 people. So I got it's nice because one of the fellas that I met, Gomez, his factory made us the boxes. They're slide open, holds 4-stick, all seat is custom done. And and every year I try to represent, buddies that are boutique blends, and their cigars are the ones that we use inside, for the night. And I'll speak about them to everybody else, why you're smoking a boutique blend and what it is. Anybody that doesn't know boutique. We're fortunate in this area. A lot of guys like boutique blends in the islands here.
I would have to say that the average consumer likes boutique blends.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get my Garden City people, they want their ash.
Yeah, there's going to be the ones that always had that, always going to be that.
Yeah.
I get it. If I'm out there, if I'm going to splurge, and I'm in a shop, because I go into a shop and I look at the wall of cigars and I'm like, damn, I probably smoked everything on this shelf,
Right.
So I'll look and see if they have anything new from somebody. But if I'm want to splurge, my local shop here, they give me 25% off. I have a set. It costs $75 a year. You get 25% off all cigars and accessories. I'm like, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they do an event, you buy a box. It's like you pays for it.
Right.
So I always pick up like a Patron 26, right? And you sit there, it's like 25% off. Even the little markup that he does, it brings that way down.
Yep.
And becomes a little more wallet friendly.
Yeah.
So I get it, but at the same time, I just reviewed the other day. I reviewed the new Cohiba Spectra.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so the Cohiba Spectra, Yeah, that came in at 96. Okay. Terrific cigar. I absolutely recommend anybody if you can afford it, buy one. Check it out. You'll appreciate the cigar. Okay. It's not a crappy cigar, but it's $150,
Yeah.
right? That cigar, right? And I just came off doing this show on cigar pricing, and I'm sitting there writing this review, and I go, how do I explain this to somebody when I'm about to tell them? Because I just was like bashing the idea of like ridiculously priced cigars, and I was like, well, if you can afford it, I would recommend buying it. If you can't afford it, that I can't tell you what to do, right? But at the same time, when I look at that cigar, right, which is a fabulous cigar for $150, another even more fabulous cigar, okay, which is only $12, is the DBL 12th anniversary Habano.
Ah,
I mean, that cigar, if you ain't smoking that cigar this year, you're missing out on something really, really special. All right. And the price difference,
yeah. Ain't it crazy?
you know, uh, and that's hard to get everybody get their head wrapped around in what we're doing. It's a packaging and all of that that goes into it
Right.
that causes these prices to go up, and you know the fancy leaf, and you're down there,
Yeah.
how much a leaf costs,
Yeah.
how much total leaf costs are inside of a cigar. The most expensive leaf on the planet, it's hard to come up with those numbers when you do
Yeah.
the math. But it is what it is. And if people, if there's a market for it, and there always is, because there's always people that have very deep pockets and could care less,
Yeah.
you know? And because of that, they also see those same people are the ones that probably look at $12, $14 cigars like maybe we did 20 years ago, $4 cigar. Be like, yeah, I'm going to smoke the $8 cigar, right? I just say get out there and if you like smoking cigars, expand your palate a little bit. Check it out. Check
I agree.
different things out.
I agree. The It was funny because Francisco's an excellent dude. He really is. He's done a lot of rolling events for me. I recommend people over to, and it's funny. People always say like, I've never met somebody in the cigar business that recommends people. If you're doing a wedding, I'll recommend. Francisco actually did a very close friend of mine in a firehouse the wedding himself. He did. He came and did it. Otherwise he'll send his cousin or his brother.
Right.
Or I'll recommend Danny from
Sticks.
Village Cigar Headquarters.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He does a beautiful job, and so does Arcangelo and Steve. So I have like 4 or 5 people. If people hit me up, I'm like, look, these are the people I know. Depends what you're looking for and stuff like that. If you're looking for just a label or it's a boy and stuff like that at weddings. But Francisco comes up with some amazing stuff. And whenever I can sneak into an area I know he's going to be close, I'll always go to say hi, and he'll be like, Kenny, if I'm at an event, I was at an event in Melbourne one day. I did cigars,
puppy.
and his brother was there, so I take a picture with him, and I'm like, oh yeah, well tomorrow he'll be here in the DR, and yeah, great people. There's so many people you meet in this industry that are they're incredible, and then there's the ones that basically it's on you,
So we have a friend of ours, John Belly. I think you know John.
Good old John.
So
Yep.
John says, "Hey, I live in Hudson Valley. Are there any places I can get these?"
Not yet, unless you call me, buddy. Unfortunately.
All right.
Yeah.
1-800 the chief.
Yeah. I think John doesn't even have my number or whatever, but he could always hit me up. But with the new website, there's a whole online store that we'll be able to go to. And I've always supported people are like, oh, you ever going to go into J&R and all of that? I've always tried to support the mom and pop brick and mortar shops. They're the ones that are out there real hard trying to, and stay away from online and stuff, And I love going into the stores. I love, I'll go into Rockville Center to Rudy's place, to La Casa del Tobacco by Rudy. And I'll just sit there and guy will walk in, I'll sit down. I got this. Hey, what are you looking for? And then I'll try to push him, towards my blend while you're there, talk about it, stuff like that.
So on your site, you're able to buy your cigars on your site, right?
You will be as soon as the new site releases has it on.
So when you do that, and I guess I just try to understand the rules and laws. So if I lived on Long Island and I bought the cigars on that, I'm paying Long Island prices,
Hmm.
right? That's going to have to go up to the cost. If I'm in Florida and I buy it, I'm buying it at your MSRP,
Correct.
$11, whatever it
Yeah.
is, right?
And it's
Had now, so that's good because that actually protects your New York shops quite a bit because people aren't coming in and buying that cigar and getting it cheaper than when it's on the shelf. Because that's always the balance that you have to have, especially these new brands that do like, direct to consumer as much as they can, and then trying to open up shops. The shops are like going, if you're cheaper than me, why would I sell you a cigar?
exactly.
You run into that?
No, because I haven't had to worry about it until now.
Right.
That's why the whole algorithm and everything that's being built is geared towards not hurting any stores.
Good.
It'll be for the people that are way out, that I'm not in the area and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that's exactly it. Because like I said, I've never done online up to this point except for boutique smokes. And it's a lot of extra licensing, when you do that, and stuff like that. And I do have which you'll even help a little more, distributor that wants to take care of it all for me. So I can have it right through the distributor. He's already got all his licensing and all of that stuff for all the different states that they distribute to.
Right.
We can take care of that for you.
Right.
So it'll work out really well. I hope. Little steps. These pockets are only so big. As the little guy.
That's how it works.
A long way. Our last order with La Aurora from a 2,000 stick order when I first started was 15,000 sticks. So I could be out there more. I could be pushing more. I could be turning around more. As I cut out by next year the middle job, that'll give me a lot more time to push the sticks and what I really like. Really love.
So your pipeline right now is about what, every 4 months or so?
Yeah. I've already done. This will be the second coming up. The new
Okay.
New factory. Yeah, already within not even a year's time.
Now, is the tariffs affecting you at all now that we're in tariff world?
It's crazy because it's like 11 cents. So, it's the tax that's on the import tax, and
Right.
some people make it sound like it's this big. Oh, nope, it's $1 to $2.50 a stick, and if you're coming out of Nicaragua, they just got hit from like, I think 10 to
18%, right. Yeah.
So they got hit a little later, bro. So they got hit a little bit more. But, for 11 cents, I'm not going to hit the people. I'm going to take the hit.
Yeah. 11 cents is, 11 cents to you, 22 cents would then be 22 cents to on the wholesale side.
Right.
And 44 cents. So like close to 50 cents on the retail side. But if you ate the 11 cents, it doesn't ever show up
right
to the consumer. Right.
So right now we can do that,
Okay.
So it's good. But hopefully the whole, I don't know, did we need somebody to have the set of kahunas to go after the money that belongs to us? We'll see what happens when it all comes.
We'll see. Yeah, it'll all shake out over time. Yes, for sure.
Right. Yeah, it'll take a little time. But,
so what do you like to pair with your cigars? Do you have a favorite beverage?
So I do. I'm a big Jack Daniels guy. Matter of fact, when I was just in Italy, they had a cherry cast. It's a blue label bottle. And I have pretty much every Jack I collect.
This is for Europe only?
I don't know. I'm looking this thing up as I'm sitting there looking at this bottle, and I said, okay, euros, American, it's $1.10 a bottle. That's not horrible. It's a big size bottle. I said, and I'm looking it up and I'm finding it on different sites for $5.99, $1.80, $1.90, 400. I'm like, cherry cast. I'm like, you know what? We got to bring 2 bottles home.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, it's part of the collection, So I'm a big Jack guy, but I'll tell you a bourbon that I just had and stuff out of Fort Hamilton, right over here, a distillery. Really nice, really nice. It's
There's a distillery in Fort Hamilton now.
Yeah. There's he's actually I got him to do a table at our upcoming cigar event, and he does tours within the distillery and everything. And yeah, it's really, really I'm taking a ride, not well, today's Sunday, next Sunday. Me and 2 people are going over. Check it out, hang out, enjoy it.
So this is just bourbon, or are they doing other things?
They got a dry gin, they got a bourbon, they got
They have a gin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, man. That's it. I'm going to be planning another trip to Long Island because my son lives in Centerport.
Yeah.
And I just love going up to visit because then I could just hang out at his house and we go smoke cigars and he is a huge gin snob. I mean, he is just he's got all kinds of bottles of gin in his basement bar, right? And I don't. I got to turn him on to that because he will. That would be a jam.
I'll get all the info next weekend for you. Send it to you.
They're coming back. They're coming back from their honeymoon.
Smoke Onos, right?
Oh,
your son was the one.
Yeah. He was the one you met at Smoke Onos. He's right now. He's down in Tahiti on his honeymoon.
Oh, beautiful! Great.
On the honeymoon for 2 weeks, and they just finished doing like 3 days of dives. So they did 6 dives. They're big divers. They're not like beautiful. They're not like amateurs. They go down deep. They were swimming with a whale yesterday, and they had the GoPro going, and you could hear the whale singing. Click, click, as they went past the whale. The whale's making the sounds. And then another day where like a pot of dolphins came over, and they were just swimming around them like they were playing together.
That's crazy.
It's like it was the most surreal experience. And then today he just finished skydiving for the first time in his life. Right, him and his wife, they got up and they jumped. So they went from like 200 feet in the ocean. 150 to like, a few thousand feet in the air, jumping out of an airplane.
Daredevils.
So yeah, but they love their gin, and I'll have to turn them on to that when I get up there. I'll take a visit. Are they open on the weekends or only?
Yeah, no, the card showed weekends and stuff, so we're gonna take a ride over.
That sounds like a tour for me, man.
He set up. I met him at an event we did in Malvern. And this stuff, I loved it. I was like, and I've always pretty much been stuck with Jack. I drink some other stuff. I got other stuff home. We just had a cigar night in Floral Park, and I won a nice 7-year bottle of Jimmie. But I kind of like that the best. But I'm dying to pair up with this cherry cast.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do as much spirits as I used to. But the other day, I forget the reason I did this. But I bought a bottle of tequila, a high-end tequila, one I never heard of. It's sitting on the bar right now. And I was drinking that. It was my friend's birthday.
Oh.
So it was his 50th birthday, and we did a Zoom for his birthday at midnight that day. So I bought the bottle for that, and I polished off like half the bottle during like from midnight to 2 a.m.
Oh boy.
And for me, tequila is one of those things where it doesn't really hit me like other spirits. It's more of an uppity feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit down for 2 hours and you're polishing off a half a bottle of tequila and you stand up and you're going to bed, well, the next day, I regretted the fact I did this because it was cobwebs that were in my head. I couldn't clear them out, but it went very well with the cigars that we smoked.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Tequila is always a good pairing, a good sipping tequila.
You ever want to look up a tequila? It's organic. It's made by Tequila Sheila. wow, I won a bottle, and they were doing a big fundraising event in Chicago, and I bid on the bottle and stuff and won it. And I really wasn't a tequila guy either, but stuff's amazing,
Yep.
really. And I give it to people who drink tequila, and they're like, "Dude, where'd you get this?" I'm like, "Here, bottle. Here's the name and stuff. Order it. Check it out. It's organic. It's all this other stuff." But yeah, there's so many things out there that you can
Oh,
sit and drink with, and
yeah. So
the local beer guy here, Manny does. So I do cigar events over at Somerset Brewery, right here on Cherry Valley Avenue. And if you're ever in the area, he's also building a restaurant. But
okay.
he's got he does a Oktoberfest, and he does a pumpkin ale. Not a pumpkin guy, but we had this at our cigar event last year, and you wouldn't even know. Amazing, and
Get that pumpkin spice in, and then when
yeah,
it's pumpkin spice time, it's pumpkin spice time
that's
when
it,
you're a
man.
beer drinker. I'm
They
sorry, you
drop it
gotta
down.
drink some pumpkin
They put the
spice.
salt on the glass, and
Yeah.
but yeah, he's got a great brewery over here. So we hit that over from the firehouse every so often.
Yeah, so when I get up there, I'll make sure I'll let you know when I'm visiting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I always end up at Maxie's at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
one
yeah.
day.
Right.
Because I take my usually my son I drive him to work. He works at Cold Spring Harbor Institute. So I just drive him over there, and I got the car for the rest of the day, and I pick him up at 6 o'clock at night, and then I
No.
just go visit old friends and shit.
Yeah.
Just drive around Long Island, bringing back memories, like we were talking before the show,
Yeah.
memories of Long Island, Jones Beach,
Yeah.
going to see concerts there, and
Yeah. I used to do security at the Garden City Hotel, and that's how I do cigar events over there now. But
the new Garden City Hotel, the old
yeah,
Garden City Hotel. I remember. I don't know if you remember the old Garden City
the
Hotel.
Nelkin family when they owned it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that thing when they tore that down, that was I'll never forget the shit storm that they were going to demolish that hotel, and people were not happy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they did a good job building the new one. I mean, they did it justice.
Yeah. It's a beautiful building. When he passed away, the family sold it, and the new people who have it renovated every floor, every room. You know,
Yeah.
so there's a reason it's a four diamond hotel.
Oh, of course.
And
Yeah.
but it's well, so when you're doing security there, anybody playing Jones Beach stays there pretty much.
It's
So
what
I
else you just
everybody from Eddie Van Halen to the Doobie Brothers to Greg Allman to it's that's a great job.
Yep.
You meet a lot of people, but yeah, Jones Beach, they still rock out some good concerts. They
Now,
really
do
do.
you own a boat?
No, I used to.
Smart man.
Right off of mine in there, so you used to be able to go around, go into the canal and stuff. You know, but no, like everybody, some people own a boat, and then they realize the hole in the water.
Yeah, that's
So,
it. Well, my son wants to buy one, and I said, and I'm actually encouraging him to buy a boat. Like, buy a boat. Yeah, that's great. Give me
yeah,
more
and I
reason
know
to
where
come
we'll
up.
go, right?
Now I know, go up there in the summer, in the springtime with you, and get right out in the Long Island Sound. We take it over to Connecticut. You know? And he's like, yeah, I'll even throw some gas in the tank if you don't get a sailboat.
Yeah, exactly. But sorry. But anyway, there is gotten really big. UBS Arena, I'm sure you saw completely.
Oh yeah, in Elmont. Oh my God, they got their own exit off. They got their own
Oh,
exit off the Cross Island now. And they got a
insane.
train stop. The
They
train
did
stops there.
that whole shopping mall across the street now they got. So
It's that whole place. How that trans. I mean, I remember growing up. That whole area right there, just west of the track, was just this ginormous farm. And there was a farm stand there. And my parents would always go over there and get their fresh vegetables from that farm. They grew everything on that farm, right? And then all of that disappeared. And then
yeah,
it all became, and now it's this whole beautiful arena. You
yeah,
know, I mean, I remember I used to go to see the Islanders at the Coliseum,
yeah,
but
yeah,
now you go there and they say
yeah.
it's even a better place to go because the Coliseum was great to watch a hockey game.
Sure. Back then we all did. We all stood outside on the ramp coming up so that we could try to get autographs or whatever else
Hmm.
players and stuff as they were leaving, you know.
And the
But
concerts there were amazing.
yeah, Yeah.
So it's way too many concerts at Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah. Now it's like anybody and everybody wants to be at UBS. You know, it's crazy. We were just there not too long ago to see Jeff Dunham. You know, and
Hmm.
it's beautiful inside. There's no doubt about it. You know, they did a nice job. Coliseum, they made this whole big thing. They were redoing it, and this and that. They redid the soffit and redid the chairs. You know,
Huh.
nothing else got done in there. You know, it's kind
Wow.
of crazy. But
What do they use it for now? Do they still do shit there?
yeah, there's still certain events and everything in there you see, and there's still talk about it becoming this and becoming that, and, you know, being sold to this person and that person for stuff. And it was good. They would battle in a casino, and you know what's going to happen over there. But you know, oh, it'll cause too much traffic and this and that. And if it's a casino,
Well,
college.
the UBS thing got it nailed because like I said, they got a train station there in Long Island
Yeah,
Railroad. So
and
you can come from anywhere in Long Island, New York, and go right.
you got an
Just
exit
stop.
off the Parkway. Come right up the
Yep.
Parkway, right in.
Well, I mean, if you want to take the parkways, I mean, you're
Yeah,
talking New York, pain in the
mm,
ass.
yeah,
I'd rather take the train wherever I could go.
yeah. It's true. But yeah, so there's a lot of great things up here. You know, and there's a shop right there across the street that carries the sticks too, the tobacco
Yeah,
shop. So
yeah. That one where you buy your beer.
yeah, yeah,
Buy
yeah,
the kegs that you buy the keg, the old place, and you get beer kegs there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he
Yep.
carries them.
I know which one you're talking about. Been there forever.
Yeah. So, but it's something I immensely enjoy. I love doing it. You know, if I didn't have my own blend, maybe I'd be repping somebody. I don't know by now, but you know, when you're gonna do it, you got to be all in. You know, so
You have to be all in, and you got to be ready to sacrifice time and family
yep,
for it before you you know, to be successful. And I said this on a bazillion shows, I'll say it again. To be success, if you want to express success as far as a brand that can sustain you,
right,
you're looking at minimum of 300 shops across the country reordering.
right,
And a goal for any new brand owner should be try to do that in 5 years.
right. Yep,
If you could do that in 5 years, you have a very successful brand. It's a notable brand at that point, and that'll be your life.
right.
You could retire from your day job probably with
I was in
300
the
shops.
shop here one day, and Omar Fratello came walking in. It's when he was just pushing his brand. He was out on weekends when he was off from NASA. Weekends, he'd pick areas. He used to tell me, so Jack would tell me, Mister, try this out. Let me know if, we like it, not like it, whatever the case may be. And, that was the first time I met him, now look at him,
Yeah.
every weekend he goes, Kenny, every weekend I pick an area and I'll travel from Maryland to here, to here, to here, and pick the 3-day weekend, bang out as many stops as I can until the next weekend.
It's a numbers game. You got to hit it.
Yep. Exactly.
You're going to get a lot of no's before you get yeses.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And now I get some places that'll email me or stuff, and they'll be like, we're interested in samples. We see you online and stuff like that. We see your brand. A couple of people have had your cigar that are in my shop, even though you're not in the area. They bought them online. They said, you might want to try this. And which is nice, amazing, that somebody's actually talking about my cigar in a shop that they want their shop owner to bring in because they're going to buy it, So that's how we've gotten some shops and stuff too.
So what do you do when you're not working and doing cigars? Do you have any hobbies? You golf? You do anything?
No, I had a house in Myrtle Beach, but didn't play golf.
That's sacrilegious, but that's
Yeah, I know, right? Everybody says that to me. They're like, "Do me a favor, rent me the house instead."
exactly.
But no, I'm a supervisor for the Department of Public Works up here in Malvern.
Okay.
I used to do landscape irrigation and design and sprinkler systems. And then when I took that job, I sold all of that off. So I still do some private stuff. I sold off the big half of my irrigation company and kept about 200 houses for myself. So
I want to come on down to Melbourne, Florida. I gotta have my well looked at.
Oh yeah, you got a well down there, really?
They have. I think this is more a shallow well. It's probably 30 feet.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Long Island, about 30, 35 feet.
Yeah, no, I think it's that type, but I think the wellhead's all clogged up and
Okay.
I'm not getting any water out of it. The primes and if the prime goes out, it's up just I don't know. I just gotta get out there and it's too freaking hot.
Yeah.
This is the time I need to fix it, but I'm
You,
like, I'm
you
not
should have
going
a
to.
swing check on it someplace. There should be a swing check. A lot of times, if you lose the prime on the pipe coming up, pipe coming over into the well pump, there's a check valve there.
Yeah,
That check valve is what holds the prime. And
yeah,
if screws go bad, or they're not taped good enough, or that inside clapper starts to lose the prime every time.
yeah. I had a guy fix all of that. I mean, I must have spent almost $700-800 in this local guy that came over and fixed it like 5 different ways to Sunday. And every time it was like another little charge, another little charge. And and finally it was working and then it just stopped again. I said, I'm not calling him anymore because
Yeah,
every time I call the guy, it's another little thing. It's like he's not troubleshooting the whole system. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And for me, it's like you might need to just change out everything. Like I would take the pipe, but the wellhead out and everything, put a whole new wellhead in,
Yeah,
and then do all new check valves,
yeah,
and making sure it's working. And I can do this all myself,
yeah.
right? This is not hard to do,
In
right?
October, November.
But exactly, you do it later in the year, and then I told my wife, I said, next year will work. This year we did the kitchen. I said, next year we're going to Italy, so we may not be doing the lawn next year either. I'd rather go to Italy than have a perfect
Yeah.
curb
And it's
appeal.
funny, up here we use the pipe machines, pulling the poly pipe and stuff. I go down by Myrtle Beach by my house, everything's hand dug with PVC. And then they come
Mhm.
off to the sprinkler heads. But everything's also buried underground or where overhead wires and stuff like that up
Yeah,
in Long
yeah.
Island.
Yeah, mine is so. I mean, it's the what I can do, and my wife keeps telling me I should just do it. Is they just connect it to the main water supply.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Should always
just
be a
say
backup anyway.
yeah, and they don't have that as a backup, so I just have to rig it all up and just put it connected to the hose
Right.
side
Yeah.
and you know, just to get it to go, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see. But I'm not sure on the if the hose if the hose cock part,
I'm
if
not sure.
that's enough pressure coming through there, or do I need to have a bigger pipe coming off the main feed of the house?
Oh, yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? And if that's the
Well pump's going to
case,
need more pressure than domestic water. So
yeah,
depending on how your heads were set up, is the domestic going to suffice?
yeah, it may not because if I don't have enough diameter pipe to feed it, it may not have enough pressure even with the pump to push it out. It might, so I might have to run the pipe. But if I do that, unfortunately, the 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 motor is on one side of the house
Mm.
and the main feed to the house is on the grass on the other side of the house.
Right, right.
So that's got to go under a driveway.
Yeah, and you don't need any of that.
And I am not playing that
Yeah.
game. So I have to experiment, it's not like I have anything to do in my life. So I could just,
You're not busy.
I have nothing to do. I don't, that's it. It's like somebody asked me one day, what do I do now that I'm retired? I said, well, I get up in the morning and I do nothing. And then usually around the afternoon, early afternoon, I kind of go back to what I was doing in the morning. And then at night I rest.
There ain't no life
Hey,
better than that.
you know, when you work your whole life, you earn it, you just enjoy it, and try to enjoy the shit out of it because every day there's like I see another obituary. I learn somebody else, my age group, whether it's a celebrity or family or a friend that died,
Yeah.
and they were dropping like flies, so yeah.
To answer, I think Kevin Brown's question there.
Oh yeah,
And he shops in Myrtle Beach. Several great shops. Yeah, Kevin, Goodfellas Cigar Shop, right in Garden City. They carry all three blends they got.
there you go. Good, good. Glad you're watching it too, because I was watching it, and that was the last one that came in. So, well, we're well beyond our hour, and this has been, as always, fun, educational. I'm going to give you the last word if you want to impart any more knowledge to the people listening now and in the future. This is your moment.
I really appreciate everything that you do. Been watching you for many, many years anyway.
Appreciate that.
Please give us a shot. If you like the cheap cigars, shoot me a text. If you want, you can hit my email, ken at kjdcigars.com, or the website, send me an email. I can answer any questions, maybe where something's located. The new website should be up in about less than a month, which it's a map also of the shops. Some are old, some come off. There's some new that have to go up and stuff like that. If you don't have, I'm not in your area and you'd like me to send samples to your tobacconist, just have them reach out to me and I'd be more than happy, to send that tobacconist down some samples. Maybe we can get into another shop. I do not mind traveling. Many people will tell you that. I drive to Florida. I drive to Illinois. I've driven to Indiana when we did the BCAs. I'll drive all over if we can make it happen. So I really appreciate it. And all the best to everybody out there. Check us out.
And when you're in Florida, look me up. And if you haven't already heard of or hit up His and Hers in Cocoa Village,
yeah,
get in touch with those folks. Carmen and Luis.
Carmen and Luis are excellent. They're on the Zoom all the time.
They're awesome. Send them a couple samples, and I'll tell you what, they're building out probably one of the best boutique shops in this area, because they're bringing in all this good stuff, TPA and others. And it's a fantastic place to go visit when you come down here to hang out.
Yeah, I will be. Don't worry.
All right.
All right.
With that, folks, that's our show tonight. I appreciate everybody joining. Don't forget the show will be up on the Stogie Press YouTube channel in a week. So it'll be there forever. If you need to use that for any reason of your own, Ken, let me know. You need any B-roll of this, it's there for you to use. And we'll have another TPA member on next week. Who it is, we don't know yet. Okay, with that, I'm going to call the show.